All right, obviously we know what the news is. There's a lot of new Star Wars, so let's get right into it. First off, Vader is coming back. So apparently in the Kenobi series, Darth Vader and Hayden Christensen will be playing him, will be returning. A lot of the other things I think are a little bit more obvious and expected, but let's get right to what is not here, which is the Rian Johnson trilogy. No announcement on that. There's also no Darth Maul, which I found really more stunning because it was pretty obvious that the fans wanted that, but they are not yet committing themselves to that. Otherwise, it's a pretty wide gamut. We've got a series called Acolyte. That is the female-centric Star Wars. There's a droid Star Wars coming out. There's Lando, but the only thing that we have anything, at least a teaser on, is Andor, which will be the name of the series for basically the Rogue One spin-off series. They've also committed to a Patty Jenkins movie called Squadron, but again, that may change, but she's the only kind of film project besides Taika Waititi that's been announced, and now we finally have a little bit more details on that. There's also just a lot of push here for Disney Plus content overall. And again, we still don't have a lot of details. We've got Star Wars Visions, we've got an anime Star Wars coming. We also presumably have the High Republic and the Ranger series, which I assume means that we're going to get Cara Dune and Boba Fett in there. But again, yeah, not an explicit Boba Fett series, nor a Cara Dune series, but I think Ranger will take care of that. And also we have Ahsoka, and I assume Grogu will go with Ahsoka, but we don't know yet. And presumably now that Hayden is coming back, Vader will also be appearing either in flashbacks or in the present timeline, per se, with Ahsoka. So what's the reading on this? This seems to be really filling out most of the trilogies and most of the Star Wars we've gone through film and the Mando. So they're pretty much covering just before the prequel trilogy and right up to the original trilogy and the beginning of the sequel trilogy. None of the major people in the sequel trilogy are showing up, at least not yet, but I don't think they're abandoning the sequel trilogy by any means, but clearly the emphasis here is on the prequels and the original trilogy. From what I understand, there's also confirmation that the High Republic is among these new series, but I don't know that for sure yet. So we have to be careful on that. But it seems like it will be covering, again, mostly past Star Wars in terms of the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy. There's a lot to be excited about, but there's a lot that's still puzzling here in terms of there's no Luke Skywalker, there is no Darth Maul, there is no Rian Johnson. So there's still a lot that they are not going to do, which is, I think, a little curious and interesting. But we'll wait and see. And obviously, I think we have to be careful that most of the stuff will happen, but some series will clearly not make it through. I mean, they've made announcements before where they said, yes, this film is happening, or yes, this TV series is happening, and nothing happens. I have to say, at least my initial reaction is I'm glad we're not at least getting Darth Maul and Kira. I was not really interested in that at all. So I do want a Darth Maul series, but I don't want her and Darth Maul. I just don't think the Kira Darth Maul thing made a lot of sense or would have been interesting anyway. So I'm glad that's one casualty that they're not going to do. They're not going to do Kira and Darth Maul. But it's going to be very interesting to see where these things go and how much Lucas is going to be involved in these various projects, including Kenobi. That we have a few more details on. We know that Deborah Chow is going to do it. It's going to be basically a mini-series, not a full-blown series. And now we know that Hayden Christensen is going to be an explicit part of it. And presumably they're going to do some things after Mustafar, but before the original trilogy. But we'll wait and see. So again, a lot of new Star Wars. I will start doing some more in-depth videos, but really the only thing we have solid information on is Andor, and a few details on the other ones, but the only one they really showed anything on is the Rogue One series. Alright, this has been Star Wars Analyzed on the new era of Star Wars going forward, and on Disney Plus. We will see what happens. If you like the content, please hit the like button and or subscribe. Please leave a comment below. Please consider supporting the work on Patreon. Thank you for listening.